What's up, everybody? This is your main man, Theo E.J. Wilson, and I have some questions for Kyle Rittenhouse supporters that I think if you were able to answer them, you could create a productive dialogue, okay? And my question is, how does somebody who goes out of the way to put themselves into drama that wasn't theirs in the first place get to claim self-defense? How is that possible, right? So if you start the chain of events at the moment where Rosenbaum, who has a very, very checkered past, mental health problems, all that, did in fact run up on Kyle Rittenhouse, and you could say, oh yeah, he definitely defended himself. Same thing with Huber, who after seeing Rittenhouse shoot Rosenbaum, he said, I got to disarm this guy, ran up on him, and he got shot in the process as well as the third guy, right? So if you want to begin the claim of self-defense at that moment, then you actually have grounds to stand on, right? But if you pull back the lens and say, where did this chain of events begin? You really have to admit that had Rittenhouse not left his home in the first place, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's a fact, y'all. The two most obvious charges against Rittenhouse were the fact that, like, he was a minor brandishing a deadly weapon. That's a charge. That's illegal. That's Captain Obvious. They were dropped, right? The fact that he was, in fact, out after the, city issued curfew. He was charged with that. That was dropped. In the space-time universe we occupy, he should not have been there. He actually broke the law on those both of those occasions, right? He wasn't charged with that. He wasn't convicted with that, pardon me. And we're asking you, would that same deference be given to a black teenager who, let's say that black teenager looked like Trayvon Martin, right? Imagine Trayvon Martin was a 17-year-old kid who crossed state lines armed with an assault rifle, getting into a protest that nobody asked him to join, right? Would that deference be given to him, right? We're questioning the fact that why is it white guys get to pursue the drama and still claim self-defense? We're asking you to look at the fact that that's part of a historical pattern, right? George Zimmerman ran after Trayvon Martin after 911 operators told him to stand down. But he gets off on a self-defense claim. The McMichaels who pursued Ahmaud Arbery for 4.5 minutes get to say that they were defending themselves when they were the ones armed with a shotgun. And after, he'd been chased for 4.5 minutes, Arbery tries to defend himself against an armed person. These are blind spots. And if you don't acknowledge these blind spots, then what will happen is you'll get defensive when people bring them up to you. But that's not necessarily the most productive way to go about it, right? We want you to acknowledge that in the Second Amendment movement, and I'm part of the Second Amendment movement, I believe in the right to bear arms, by the way, right? But on the white male side of it, they've made a safe place for racists. A wink and a nod has been given to those brandishing white supremacist paraphernalia, including Kyle Rittenhouse. We have literal photos with him, literally throwing up this sign, which was appropriated by the white supremacist movement on 2 separate occasions, right? One of them with the Proud Boys. People say, well, the Proud Boys have black and brown members. You don't have to be a white person to have white supremacist ideology. That's another conversation, right? We know that there's coordination with these Second Amendment guys and police forces, right? We literally have police thanking them for being there, right? You have a situation where, and it's caught on tape, where a guy in the Second Amendment crowd says out loud, the police have told us that they're pushing Black Lives Matter supporters toward us. They were pushed out of Civic Center Park and down Sheridan Avenue toward the Second Amendment guys, where Kyle Rittenhouse was, right? And so there is a wink and a nod given to white supremacist actors and police forces. Let's talk about that. Where you have whole entire FBI memos issued telling cops to be on the lookout for white supremacist infiltration being ignored. That was 2006, 2008, right? You have the fact that police work is hard work and they allow the head busters to go in and create death, right? And then the captain, the sarge, whatever says, guys, that was a lot of excessive force. Don't get caught doing that again, right? Derek Chauvin, we know, had plenty of use of force complaints against him. And then the Minneapolis PD throw him under the bus when the city burns. I think you need to take an honest look at the historical pattern that Kyle Rittenhouse did exactly what his ancestors did, went out of their way to pursue whatever ends that they thought what they were justified in doing, got into drama, claimed self-defense, and killed. That's Manifest Destiny 101, right? His forefathers just did it with the Native Americans here. If we're not willing to have that conversation in context, we're not having an honest conversation. So when you talk about personal responsibility, spread that mess out evenly, y'all. If black people have to take personal responsibility for all this stuff in their community and whatnot, Kyle Rittenhouse has to take personal responsibility for breaking the law and brandishing a firearm, leaving his house, crossing state lines to get involved in drama that didn't involve him in the first place. That's the truth. My name is Theo E.J. Wilson. Like, follow, and share this message out. Let's have this conversation, but have it correctly. Thank you.